bullet bills, Mike Tyson, obscure Japanese Mario movies you've never heard of, and an end-credit scene with a wild sequel hook. And believe us, this only just scratches the surface of the insanity you're about to hear. Stay till the end to prove you're a true fan. The Super Mario Bros. Movie from Illumination Studios is a delightful love letter to both the famous Super Mario Bros. Video game franchise and to classic Nintendo. Here are all of the references and Easter eggs that only true fans will be able to spot, including one that is an actual egg, but we'll get to that later on. Remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more Easter egg coverage. Let's start with some of the references that the Super Mario Bros. Movie makes to Nintendo games other than the main line of Mario games. Everybody knows that Mario's very first nemesis from his arcade years, Donkey Kong, plays a major role in the movie and makes his bombastic entrance to the tune of DK Rap from Donkey Kong 64. The song was composed by Grant Kirkhope, who was responsible for a lot of the most iconic video game music to come out of Nintendo's partnership with Rareware during the 90s. There are also several other references to the various games in the Donkey Kong Country spin-off franchise as well, including cameo appearances from other members of the Kong family, such as Diddy Kong, Dixie Kong, Swanky Kong, Chunky Kong, Funky Kong, and Kiddy Kong. One of Donkey Kong's classic animal buddies, Rambi the Rhino, is also depicted in the form of a steering wheel on one of the carts in the movie. A training dummy in the Kong arena resembles a Noddy, one of the most common enemies that appear in the Donkey Kong Country series and in Donkey Kong 64. The Kong Kingdom itself is modeled after Donkey Kong's home island from the games, with the house where Mario, Peach, and Toad speak to Cranky Kong even being modeled after his cabin from the original Donkey Kong Country. A flying barrel is also made use of by Mario and Donkey Kong as they escape from the gargantuan Mare Eel, similar to the barrels that are used in various Donkey Kong games as a means of transportation. The Donkey Kong arcade game from 1981, which featured the first appearance of the Mario character, formerly known as Jumpman, gets its own shoutouts too. The red scaffolding of the Kong Kingdom Arena closely resembles the gameplay environment of Donkey Kong. The iconic hammer power-up that Jumpman uses is on display in the marketplace of the Mushroom Kingdom in all its pixelated glory, and Pauline, the original damsel in distress, is shown giving an interview about the state of Brooklyn's plumbing, which is itself a reference to her becoming the mayor of New Donk City in Super Mario Odyssey. Who knows, maybe Donkey Kong and Pauline will meet in the next movie, since they have both been around since the beginning of Mario's history. Let's just hope their meeting goes by without Donkey Kong trying to pull a Bowser. He's a lot more heroic and respectful nowadays. An arcade cabinet that appears in the Super Mario Bros. Movie's Brooklyn scene also bears a striking resemblance to a real-life Donkey Kong arcade cabinet, but it's fittingly labeled Jumpman instead, possibly to avoid confusion with the Donkey Kong character. Incidentally, the restaurant where the arcade cabinet appears is known as Punch-Out Pizza, named after the Punch-Out video game series and featuring portraits of many of the boxing game's most memorable opponents. These include the fragile Frenchman Glass Joe, the cantankerous Canuck Bear Hugger, the Irish trickster Aaron Ryan, and Japan's own Piston Honda. There also seems to be a blurry picture of the Punch-Out player character Little Mac and his coach Doc Lewis in the background of one of the shots. The inclusion of Punch-Out characters in the Super Mario Bros. Is notable here not only because Punch-Out is a Nintendo franchise, but also because Mario himself makes an appearance in one of the games. In Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, the referee for all matches in the game is none other than Mario himself. Perhaps one of the sequels will reveal that Mario had a past job working in a boxing ring. In addition to Donkey Kong and Punch-Out, another classic Nintendo arcade game from the 80s featuring Mario was given a significant nod in the Super Mario Bros. Movie. That game was 1984's Wrecking Crew, which had Mario and Luigi as playable characters and introduced the character of Foreman Spike as an antagonist. Spike himself makes an appearance in the movie as Mario and Luigi's former boss, meaning that the events of Wrecking Crew might be canon to the movie's universe. Both the acknowledgement of Punch-Out and Wrecking Crew might lead fans to wonder if any of Mario's other occupations from the spin-off could factor into the sequel. Maybe Mario could go back to school and get a degree in medicine. Dr. Mario is a thing after all. This franchise is insane. Another character named Giuseppe also appears in Punch-Out, playing the Jumpman arcade machine. While he never has appeared in any of the video games, Giuseppe's voice actor is Charles Martinet, who's been the voice actor for Mario in the video game series since 1991. Giuseppe's design very much resembles an older version of Mario with the colors of his original arcade sprite. Charles Martinet also has another voice acting role in the movie, that of Mario and Luigi's father. While it might just be another cameo to demonstrate the breadth of Martinet's acting talent, it is fun to see the veteran Mario voice actor passing the torch on to Chris Pratt and Charlie Day. There are several Easter eggs referencing other Nintendo games from across the company's history, starting with the NES game Duck Hunt, which utilized the NES Zapper to simulate firing at virtual ducks. A picture of a duck from the game can be found in Punch-Out Pizza, and there's a French restaurant in Brooklyn known as Chasse au Canard, which literally translates to duck hunting. There's also a painting of the laughing dog from Duck Hunt on the wall of the fancy apartment where Mario and Luigi go to repair the plumbing. This same location contains a glass sculpture of a Pikmin and a story with the title Galaxy in reference to Super Mario Galaxy. One of the paintings on the wall of the apartment also bears a slight resemblance to the blocks from Tetris. The Balloon Fight action game series is also given a nod through the appearance and name of another business in downtown Brooklyn. A different store, the Discoon store, has a picture of Discoon, the mascot of the Famicom Disk System, a Japanese exclusive Nintendo console. When Mario is playing video games in his room, the game that he's playing is Kid Icarus, a challenging Nintendo platformer starring the Angel Pit, whose name isn't actually Kid Icarus unless we're talking about the suspiciously similar character that exists in the Captain N show. The scene also wouldn't be the first time Mario's played a NES console in a movie adaptation of his games, as that honor goes to the 1986 animated film Super Mario Bros. Pichime Kaioshutsu Dai Sakusen, translated to English as Super Mario Bros. The Great Mission to Rescue Princess Peach. International audiences may not be familiar with this film, as it was only ever released domestically in Japan. It's incredible to see how far the Mario Brothers have come since their previous appearances on the big screen, especially since the live-action adaptation of Super Mario Bros. Video game movies are definitely different than they used to be. More visual references to other Nintendo games abound throughout the Brooklyn scenes of the film. Silhouetted figures that resemble various Game & Watch games can be sighted on construction signs and trucks. The shades-wearing polar bear from Ice Climber also makes an appearance in the form of a poster in Mario's room. Other posters depict the box art for some of Nintendo's early sports games, such as tennis, pro wrestling, and golf. And yet another poster in the same scene depicts the Blue Falcon, the signature vehicle of Captain Falcon, the most famous character from the F-Zero video game series. On the subject of vehicles, there's also a model of an R-Wing from Star Fox above Mario's TV. Unlike the Punch-Out cameos, these games definitely feel fictional within the movie's universe, so we probably won't be seeing Fox McCloud appear in person anytime soon. Those are all the Easter eggs which refer to Nintendo games outside of the Mario canon. Now we can switch gears and talk about the Easter eggs in the Super Mario Bros. Movie that reference the Mario games themselves, starting off with the references to the Mario Kart spin-off games. The kart builder that Mario, Peach, and Toad used to construct their karts is modeled after the selection screen from Mario Kart 7 and Mario Kart 8, even containing many of the same wheel, body, and glider options featured in both those games. Super Kong even uses a kart glider to take the Mushroom Kingdom trio inside of the Kong Temple. It may at first seem unusual for the Kongs to be the only ones with an understanding of kart technology, considering that they seem to be shared by all characters in the Mario Kart games, but it does make some amount of sense considering that the Donkey Kong franchise is known for having a few racing games of its own, between Diddy Kong Racing and Donkey Kong Barrel Blast. When the characters are done building their karts, Mario chooses a standard red kart, which he is often depicted driving in promotional material for the Mario Kart franchise. Princess Peach is driving a pink-colored variation of a sports bike class vehicle from Mario Kart 8 while wearing her biking outfit, which was introduced alongside the Mach Bike in Mario Kart Wii. Toad's monster truck isn't a direct reference to any vehicle from the Mario Kart series, but it does have similarities with several buggy class karts, including the Tiny Titan. The Hylian motorbike, which is associated with Link from The Legend of Zelda and appears in Mario Kart 8, is also seen in the background during the kart selection scene. Princess Peach said that there are lots of galaxies out there, and the Kingdom of Hyrule could certainly be in one of them. Many of the items from Mario Kart item boxes are utilized during the karting chase scene, including green Koopa shells, banana peels, and bullet bills. And while it doesn't appear in the race itself, a POW block can be seen in the Mushroom Kingdom marketplace. The winged spiny shell, which is infamous among Mario Kart players for its ability to home in on and target the first-place racer and explode, appears in the form of Bowser's Koopa General, who even calls out "Blue Shell," the fan nickname for the spiny shell, as he transforms into the item. The battle sequence on the karts also takes place on Rainbow Road, one of the most difficult recurring stages in the Mario Kart franchise. One of the famous shortcuts through the Rainbow Road track is utilized by Mario as he falls from a higher portion of the rainbow down to a lower portion. The anti-gravity tires from Mario Kart 8 are utilized by the characters to go upside down on the track, just like in the game. The drifting mechanic from later Mario Kart games is also shown, as Mario creates a speed boost for his kart while using it. There are references to the Yoshi's Island games in the Super Mario Bros. Movie as well. At one point in the film, there's a flashback to Mario and Luigi's childhood, which uses the canon designs for Baby Mario and Baby Luigi, which were first introduced in Yoshi's Island and then spun off into other games. A herd of Yoshis with many different colors is shown during the travel montage. There are red, blue, pink, and yellow Yoshis, but noticeably there is not a single green Yoshi in the bunch. One of the post-credit scenes gives us the appearance of a green-spotted Yoshi egg in the sewers under Brooklyn, which seems like possible foreshadowing for the appearance of the green Yoshi in the sequel movie. Green Yoshi was the first iteration of the character introduced in Super Mario World and has been seen as the most iconic Yoshi ever since. Because of this, it's likely this particular Yoshi will be an important character and may be serving as a sidekick to Mario and Luigi. Power-ups have always been a part of the Mario franchise, and in the Super Mario Bros. Movie, several of the most popular ones make an appearance. Princess Peach uses a fire flower within an entire field of them to become Fire Peach, and later uses an ice flower to crash her own wedding and put the freeze on Bowser. Princess Peach's training obstacle course also introduces the common mushroom power-up, which allows Mario to grow to a larger size and withstand a hit. When Mario fights Donkey Kong in the Kong Kingdom arena, he eats a mini mushroom and shrinks down to a tiny size, but later turns the tables by gaining the powers of the Golden Bell from Super Mario 3D World and becoming Catsuit Mario. Donkey Kong himself also powers up, using the Fire Flower in one of the movie's 2 side-scrolling sequences, and in the same scene, Mario uses the Leaf power-up, which debuted in Super Mario Bros. 3 to become the high-flying Tanuki Suit Mario. The most important power-up, of course, is the Superstar, which has been featured in almost every Mario game since the original Super Mario Bros. As either a collectible or a power-up. When Mario and Luigi use the star to defeat Bowser, the invincibility music theme from the game plays over the scene, which concludes with both the brothers swinging Bowser by his tail, like in Super Mario 64. While it's never activated by any of the characters, the Boomerang Flower power-up does make an appearance at the same antique shop where the Donkey Kong hammer is located. That scene also contained a reference to blowing into game cartridges to allow them to function, which was a common superstition about the large cartridges of the N64 game console and how to fix them. Also in the Mushroom Kingdom marketplace is the Crazy Cap store from Super Mario Odyssey. Super Mario Odyssey is referenced again by the white top hat that Bowser wears when he's getting ready to marry Princess Peach, which is taken from his wedding outfit in the game. Another blink and you'll miss it Easter egg from Super Mario Odyssey occurs when Mario, Peach, and Toad are traveling across the world and pass through the Sand Kingdom, which surrounds the town of Tostarena. In addition to the named characters from the games, there's a wide variety of generic enemy types that make an appearance, mostly as members of Bowser's army. A closer look at the sweeping shot through the troops within Bowser's castle reveals Goombas, Shy Guys, Bob-ombs, Piranha Plants, Spiny, Buzzy Beetles, and several variations of Koopa, including red and green Koopa Troopers, Paracoopas, Hammer Bros, and massive Sledge Bros. Additionally, what at first appears to be bats flying through the air as the camera pans across the army are actually bat-like swoops that have been in the game since Super Mario World. Later on in the wedding scene, King Bob-omb and King Boo appear as guests of King Bowser. The former first appeared as the introductory boss of Super Mario 64, and the latter was famously the main villain of Luigi's Mansion for the GameCube. Other references to Luigi's Mansion occur when Luigi is in the Darklands running from the dry bones, as the music recalls the theme of the game, and he's equipped with a malfunctioning flashlight. The trees in the area also have a clear resemblance to the opening cutscene of Luigi's Mansion for the GameCube. And speaking of, the ringtone of Luigi's phone in the movie sounds exactly like the sound that the GameCube logo screen greets the player with upon starting up the console. Now seems like a good time to mention a number of the other musical motifs that were imported from the video games to the movie. There are countless references to tracks from the Super Mario Bros. And New Super Mario Bros. Series, Super Mario 64, Super Mario Galaxy, Super Mario Odyssey, the Donkey Kong Country games, Bowser's Fury, and the Mario Kart games. Over 100 songs from the games were used in total and blended together with the scene to create a dynamic soundtrack full of fan-friendly moments. One of the most notable and repeated themes throughout the movie was the underground theme from World 1-2 in Super Mario Bros. It plays when Mario and Luigi enter the sewers of Brooklyn before they encounter the warp pipe and is played again during the conversation between Bowser and Kamek on a piano that itself doubles as a reference to the Koopa Kid and mini-boss Ludwig von Koopa. In honor of the most musically influenced Koopa Kid of the bunch, let's continue to go over some of the more musical references. The airship theme from Super Mario Bros. 3 is used as a motif for Bowser's floating fortress and army, while the Fury Bowser boss battle theme is sampled directly from the game to play at the rock concert where Bowser's army is introduced. Two themes associated with the character Toad play during the soundtrack Strange New World, those being Toad Brigade from Super Mario Galaxy and Captain Toad Goes Forth from Super Mario 3D World. The score is played when Toad first shows up to introduce Mario to the strange new world on the other side of the warp pipe. The Level Complete medley in the credits features a few themes that weren't present anywhere else in the movie, such as the Gusty Garden Galaxy from Super Mario Galaxy. Level Complete also features an extended version of the underwater theme, which is only briefly heard when a Toad in the Mushroom Kingdom is seen carrying a Cheep Cheep. The track known as Welcome to the Mushroom Kingdom features an absurd number of musical references, including the overworld themes from both Super Mario Bros. And Super Mario World, the Cascade Kingdom theme from Super Mario Odyssey, the Bob-omb Battlefield theme from Super Mario 64, and even the Bowser boss fight theme from Super Mario Galaxy. When Mario first arrives at Princess Peach's castle, the theme Inside the Castle Walls from Super Mario 64 plays for a brief moment. Aside from musical cues, the castle itself also has a fair share of Easter eggs. For example, the paintings that hang on the walls of the palace depict stages from Super Mario 64, which is especially appropriate considering that players would have to make Mario jump into those same paintings to access the levels. The giant stained glass window behind Peach's throne looks almost exactly like the one which allows the player to enter the secret castle slide in Super Mario 64 to obtain one of the hub world's hidden stars. The Toad guards at the entrance to the palace tell Mario that the princess is in another castle, which was famously first said in the original Super Mario Bros. Video game whenever Mario would defeat Bowser to clear a world. The humongous bomber bill being sent to demolish the castle by Bowser toward the climax of the film could be a reference to Princess Peach's castle stage in Super Smash Bros. Melee, where a smaller but similar bullet bill functions as a stage hazard. With so much history and so many games in the Super Mario Bros. Franchise, Illumination and Nintendo had their work cut out for them in filling this movie with as many fun Easter eggs and references as they did. And we, the fans, had to work just as hard to discover each and every one of them. What was your favorite Easter egg from the Super Mario Bros. Movie? Let us know, along with your favorite game featuring Mario and his friends, in the comments section. Let's-a go!